Hey everyone, I decided to do some videos of some play therapy techniques. And what we were going to start with is some simple techniques we can use just with simply crayons and paper. Let's say you have a client that is just not willing to talk, just struggling to get stuff out. Sometimes having an activity can help break the ice a little bit, kind of give them an activity to focus on, and you guys can process through stuff in a way that's not so invasive and so direct and so serious. So I'm going to give 6 different activities that you can simply do with some crayons and a piece of paper, or even just a pen and a piece of paper. Let's say you don't have anything else on hand. So pen and a piece of paper works just fine. So the first activity would be to maybe draw a picture of your family. Ask your client to just draw what that picture looks like. So whether it's just, and they don't have to be an artist. Just simply, even if they just draw a, just stick figures and, those simple things, and just kind of encourage your client that their picture, can look like whatever it needs to look like. And you can utilize that to process. Couple things you can do as far as that's concerned, just the different heights of the family members and stuff. So here you go. I've got, simply in just 5 seconds, I drew 2 people, and some ways you can process it is looking at maybe the distance between the 2 individuals. You can talk about who the people are that they drew, why they drew them that way, and they can tell you a little bit about that. Maybe they drew them further apart because of maybe they don't, this is their dad and themselves, and maybe they just don't ever get to see their dad, so they feel far away from their dad. So that's an example of one activity. Just draw your family. What do they look like? Another example is to write down your emotions. And having them write them down, allows them to be able to kind of get them on paper, or even you could write down some emotions. You can write down scary, lonely, happy, sad, mad. And by writing these down, again, you're putting on paper. They're a little bit easier to express and identify. Maybe have your client point to an emotion that they feel like they've had recently, and maybe tell you about that emotion. Another component of writing down your emotions or sharing your emotions is having them draw what those emotions look like. What does it look like when you are mad? And so maybe they may draw a lion, because lions are big and they like to yell, and so maybe they'll draw a lion for their emotions, or maybe they'll draw a turtle, and you could ask them why they chose to draw a turtle, and with that they may say, well, the turtle is slow, and when they get scared they like to go in their shell, and I like to hide when I'm scared. Or when I feel lonely, I hide. And so you can utilize that to help talk about something that is a little less personal, but it also allows them to talk about what is personal. So a third thing that you can have them do is draw their favorite activities. Again, this is kind of age specific. You want to be able to work with some of these activities with ages that would be able to draw something. Obviously, maybe a 3-4-year-old may not be able to draw things they enjoy. They may not be able to draw a bat. Let's say you're working with a client and one of their favorite things is baseball, or they like to go to the beach. They might draw some waves, and so this gives them a way to you just kind of give them time to draw stuff, and it doesn't have to be, they don't have to be an artist. They're their own artist, and so they can feel comfortable doing what they do. And the good thing about these is gives you an opportunity to encourage your clients, and as you encourage them, their self-esteem is going to go up, and they're going to have the opportunity to feel better about themselves because they're able to not only express themselves, but no matter what their picture looks like, you're saying, hey, you're doing a great job. They may say, oh, well, my bat is just, this doesn't even look like a bat. And it's like, but you drew that bat and you did a great job. Some other things you can do, write a story together. Maybe you can prompt them by giving them some ideas on what to start with. And as you write this story, some things in their life may appear in different parts of the story. And so it's a way of them telling a story. And as they're telling it, oftentimes people will include, or kids and adults will include different things they've experienced because that's what they know. And so it's an opportunity to maybe talk about another person per se, but you're really talking about the client themselves. And so that's another activity you can do with paper and pencil or crayons or whatever. The other thing you can do involving drawing is draw a problem. Have them draw something they've had going on recently. Have them draw a dream. Have them draw, whatever problem may be. Whether one problem they have is fighting with their siblings, and so they can draw what that looks like, and just simply, something simple like this. And so they're able to take that situation. Maybe they're not able to verbalize it. And you say, you know what, can you just draw what's made you mad, or draw what scared you? And so by them able to put it on paper, it's another way of them getting it out when maybe they can't verbalize what's going on. So that's about 5 or 6 things that I've given you to, if you're wanting to do an activity, wanting to do some play therapy stuff, to kind of open up your client a little bit. That is a super cheap on-hand activity that you don't need anything more than a pen and a piece of paper, which is your typical office supplies to be able to use. If you have crayons on hand, that helps because the kids can choose different colors and they can choose different ways of expressing themselves. But as you saw, I used one crayon and it was able to get, a job done just as well. Yes, it would help to be able to have multiple colors. They could express themselves a little bit more, but totally not necessary. So I hope that these activities maybe can spur you on a little bit and give you some things to work with, and can help you with your counseling sessions.